Hello, Oklahoma BPA. And as you know, State Leadership Conference is approaching. So with that in mind, I'm going to walk you through our 2023 State Leadership Conference website. So if you go to bpaok.org, which is our state website, you will be able to find all the information that you need for State Leadership Conference, in addition to any emails that I or other BMIC staff members might send you. So when you're on the home page, you're going to see this red bar, hover over the conferences tab, and then select SLC State Leadership Conference. Okay, once you are there, you'll see that this is updated to reflect this year's theme, which is Strive for Success. We have a blurb here so that people can read about that. Okay, so when you get here, you see this red bar open. Registration will open on the 12th of 2023. You can register then. So if you click on this More Info Here button, this is going to give you quite a bit of information that you'll need for registration. So you'll see a lot of things are peppered throughout this website so that you can see them multiple times, so they're easy to find. So if you don't see them in one place, maybe you'll see them in another. So a lot of this information will be found in multiple areas. But the important dates and deadlines, these are some of our most important dates and deadlines. It's definitely not a comprehensive list, but for a comprehensive list, you can look at the BMIT important dates that were released at Oklahoma Summit and things like that. So none of these dates should change pending any bad weather or anything like that that our schools may experience. So with that, we know that registration opens on January 12th and will close on January 27th. Our state testing window this year is February 1st through 17th. That is, the 17th is also the day that all of our pre-submitted events are going to be due by 5 p.m. that evening. That portal will also open on February 1st. So you have the same windows to submit your pre-submitted events and to take your online tests. Okay. On February 23rd, we will be hosting middle level competition day in Stillwater at the state agency. And then on March 6th through 8th, as you know, we will be at our state leadership conference in Tulsa. Okay, some registration information right here. We have the link. You will register at this link for both conferences, mid-level and state leadership conference. So you'll one-stop place. Now, what you do need to keep in mind that is if you have multiple chapters, whether it's a middle level secondary situation or a secondary post-secondary situation for state leadership conference, you will have 2 invoices if you have 2 chapters. So 1 invoice for each chapter. We cannot combine them for state leadership conference simply because we need to make sure that post-secondary students are competing in post-secondary designated events against post-secondary designated students, and the same with secondary and middle level. So to help us keep that straight, you will need to have separate invoices. We will take care of those advisors so that you're only paying registration once though. So look forward to more information about that from me. Okay, the registration cost for the 2023 SLC is $70 per member and advisor. That is a $5 upcharge from previous years, simply so that we can better cover the costs of being at the Cox Business Convention Center while we're waiting to return back to the Performing Arts Center in Tulsa. Middle level registration for middle level day will be $40 per member. So like I said, all of that will be in that same link. You'll just make sure that you designate who you are and your rate will pop up. Okay, the deadline for registration fee refunds is going to be February 2nd. Now, keep in mind that this is a day after some of those portals open up. So if your student has tested or if they have uploaded something into the pre-submit system, they are not eligible for a refund because they have participated in conference. So please make sure that you're looking at that after February 2nd. It's not impossible to get a refund, but they're going to be looked at a little bit more carefully to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible with the organization's money. When you do register, we look at those numbers, and that's how we plan conference based on the numbers that are registered in our system. Okay, but with any questions on that, please just send me an email and we will look at that on a case-by-case basis. Okay, invoices may be printed from the online registration system. You will have the option to split those invoices. You can have a combined invoice with advisors and students on the same invoice, or you can have an invoice for advisors and a separate invoice for students. So once you walk through the registration process, you will be able to see all of that information when you check out or submit your registration. Okay, something to keep in mind, especially if you are new to BPA this year, registration for State Leadership Conference is tied to membership. So unlike Fall Leadership Conference, your students must be members to attend State Leadership Conference. So that is just a BPA rule. So with that in mind, we have added the link to membership right here. It is not too late to submit your members. So if you do have a student who wants to compete at State Leadership Conference, wants to attend the conference, they can still register. They don't have to have sent the check in to pay dues, but they do have to be fully submitted into that registration system before they can be added to State Leadership Conference. If you have questions on that, let me know. If you are working with the affiliation model and haven't reached your 20 members, then you can add students and won't have to generate a new invoice or send in any additional funds for those students. Okay, 2023 events. We have not changed this since last year. A student can compete in up to 2 events, with one of those being a team event. You can look at the WASUP and the events at a glance to see which events are designated as individual and which are designated as a team. Torch, open events, national virtual events, and the Merit Scholar Test do not count towards the 2 event maximum. Torch doesn't count towards any event maximum. Open events, they can take as many of those as they want. The national virtual events are not state events, so you can do what you want to with those. And then the Merit Scholar Test is additional as well. So if you're doing any of those, they can still compete in any of the other 2 events in the 100s, 200, 300, 400, 500, or 600s categories, or the 900s for middle level. Okay, invoicing and POs. We'll get a lot of questions about this. So if you do have a question, please send me an email, and I'll also make sure that I'm adding those to the FAQ section of the website. I'll show you that later. So invoices can be printed from the system, as we already talked about. There's an option for split invoices. I'll repeat those options again. You can have an advisor invoice, a student invoice, or a combined invoice with both. Keep in mind it's tied to registration. And then here's the details that you can make all of your POs and checks out to. So you're going to make those out to Oklahoma BPA. You can put those to the attention of our new bookkeeper, Rose Devers, and we have our address here. This phone number down here is Rose's phone number. So if you do have a question or need to pay by credit card, you may call that phone number and Rose can take care of you. One note that you'll hear us say on the phone and things like that. If you do need to have a PO adjusted or a date change on your invoice, or maybe it's wording on your invoice or something like that, so that your finance office is happy at your school, we are more than happy to do that for you. So the important thing for us right now is for you to get your members in so that we can start scheduling, so that we can start planning and that sort of thing. You don't have to have your PO number ready when you check out. You don't have to have any of that. We can go in and add that later. And we can also adjust the dates and things like that for you as well. So as you're working on that, please don't panic if you don't have your PO. We can work through that. Okay, while we're talking about invoicing and registration fees, here's what is included in your conference registration fee. So you'll get a packet for each chapter. So just remember that if you are representing 2 chapters, that you'll have 2 different packets to pick up at the registration booth. You'll have access to everything at the conference. You don't have to pay additional fees to get into any of the workshops or panels or anything like that. Your registration fee covers your online testing, access to the conference exhibitors and vendors, all of these sessions, the opening, business, and awards. Each registered participant will get a 2023 trading pin, and you'll have access to the Oklahoma BPA merch at the store on the 7th. And then any awards and certificates are all included in that registration fee. So once you pay that registration fee for per student, other than hotels and incidentals and food and things like that, they're not going to pay anything extra to participate in the conference. Okay. Keep in mind, registration must be completed between January 12th and January 27th. We have shortened the window this year, so please don't bank on that full month. We're trying to make a few changes that will be better for our systems and just for transparency and things like that. There are no substitutions and changes. So that is true with all the competitions and everything like that. You cannot substitute a student into a competition and things like that. Now, if there are emergencies and things like that, and maybe a student isn't competing and you've paid and you need to substitute, email me. We will handle that on a case-by-case basis because I do know every situation is going to be a little bit different. So just communicate, and if we can help you, we will. Okay, so moving back to our state leadership conference page, we're going to continue down. Just a little note, remember, they don't open until the 12th. So you'll click here. It's just another link to take you to that BPA registration system. We have added this little toggle for some quick information today. So when mid-level day is February 23rd, state leadership conference is March 6th through 8th. As a note to our middle level participants, you are permitted to go to all of that. So if you pay for the middle level day, you can attend all of the sessions and things like that at SLC. What we have only done is separate out your competitions, and that's what will be happening on middle level day. Okay, where does this take place? So this is particularly talking about SLC. We'll be in Tulsa this year. The main hotel and venue is the Hyatt Regency in downtown Tulsa. Competitions will be held on March 6th at Tulsa Technology Center, Peoria. And then we will have competitions held on March 7th at the Hyatt Regency. All of the opening and award sessions will be at the Cox Business Convention Center downtown. Who can attend? We talked about this briefly, but any active BPA member that has registered and paid membership dues to National BPA is eligible to attend. Okay, registration costs. We have already gone through this, but just keep in mind that we are $70 per member and advisor this year. Okay, registration. I'll remind you again, opens January 12th, closes January 27th, and we will not permit late registration. And there's a link again if you want to register. Okay, middle level day, I'll be adding some information here that'll pertain just to that middle level day on February 23rd. Okay, the opening session will be at 7 p.m. on March 6th at the Cox Business Convention Center. This is where you'll be able to hear those keynote speeches, all of the candidate speeches for those running for state office, when we will give away torch awards and some of those things like that. Okay, the awards session will begin at 9 a.m. on March 8th at the Cox Business Convention Center. And it begins around 9. We will end around 12, 12:30. We try our best to triple call and keep it moving quick, but with over 100 events, it can be a pretty lengthy award session. Okay, so the hotel. Now this is not completely finalized, but we do have our main hotel, which is the Hyatt Regency downtown, our main venue. To my knowledge, this is accurate, but I am recording this on a weekend, so just make sure that you're checking in on emails and things like that. I will also try to update this information as quickly as possible, but to my knowledge, this is full. Again, though, I am recording this on a weekend and I don't have the latest update. Sunday is completely full right now. We cannot add any more rooms. There is a big conference there that is leaving on Sunday. So we just can't get any more rooms. Monday, the block is not full. And Tuesday night, the block is not full at the Hyatt Regency. Here's the booking link, address. This year's rate is 127 plus fees and taxes and parking. So make sure you add that on. There is a bus parking and then there's regular parking. So when you are registering, make sure you pay attention to that. If you have questions, particularly about bus parking, you can call Caroline Jones. Here's her number. Here's her email address. They worked with us for years and years. Caroline has taken the place of the previous person. But Caroline has been there. So she knows our group. She knows what we need, that sort of thing. With that being said, this is the part that's not finalized. I am working with our contracts company to make sure that we have 2 overflow hotels. The reason that these are not completed yet, we were not ecstatic about the service that we had been given last year by our overflow hotels. So we are working on contracting with 2 new overflow hotels. So those are still pending and we're working on getting that. Thank you to those of you who filled out the survey so we could better gauge numbers according to how many students your schools are allowing you to put in rooms. So you'll get an email from me when those are finalized. I am hoping that those will be done this week, which is the week of January 8th. Okay. think that was the last one. Yes. Okay. So moving through, this section is all going to be schedules to download. And this could be schedules that are ready right now. It could be schedules that will be being released later. Right now you have access to the printable LC schedule and the printable middle level day schedule. So both of those are there because we've had requests so that you can submit travel to your administration and things like that. So super easy to use. Don't print a whole bunch of these. We'll have programs and things like that that look a lot nicer. These are just really simple. So if you click on those, opens up a Word document. I'm not going to share it on my screen, but you can click on that, download it, easily print it, black and white. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. As we get closer to both middle level day and state leadership conference, you are going to see these schedules pop up. So right now the links won't go to anything, but you'll have our competition schedule, the schedule by event, the advisor volunteer schedule will be posted here. And then of course our middle level day competition schedule will be posted here as well. So you know where to find your schedules right here. If we have a schedule, it'll be posted when it is ready in this area of the website. Okay, moving on to our conference agenda. So this is basically what this printable agenda is, but over here. So we do have our theme release video over here if you want to show it to students. Sunday, March 5th, we will be having our early bird registration pickup at 5 p.m. at the Hyatt Regency. That is where our registration booth will be open all of conference. On Monday, registration and information will be at the Hyatt Regency. We will also do what we did last year, where if you let me know that you want to pick up your packet at Tulsa Tech Peoria, we will bring your packets from the Hyatt to Tulsa Tech Peoria so that you can pick them up that morning and you don't have to make it over to the Hyatt. So watch for an email from me on that once we know who will be competing on at Tulsa Tech Peoria and things like that. I'll send out that survey. Okay, at 9 a.m. we'll start competitions over at Tulsa Tech Peoria. The grading room will be open at the Hyatt Regency at 1 p.m. for those of you who sign up to grade events. And then at 5 p.m., registration will close over at the Hyatt so that we can get ready for our opening session at the Cox Business Convention Center. So like I said before, this is where we'll have opening session, the keynote, and campaign speeches. The venue will open around 6. Theater doors will open at 6:30. Something fun to keep in mind is that if you are a STAR chapter that has reached the gold or platinum levels, you will get reserved seating so that you can just walk in right at 6:45 and get into your chairs. Okay, moving down, and then we'll look at the sidebar in just a minute. On Tuesday, March 7th, this is a full competition day. Our registration booth will open at 7 a.m. At the Hyatt. Competitions will start promptly at 9. The grading room is going to open also at 9, so we can get those events graded and out the door. At 9 a.m., the campaign booths and the vendor booths will open. So really everything conference related is going to start and kick off right at 9 a.m. 3 p.m., our campaign booths and vendor booths are going to close. And then at 5 p.m., we're going to be holding our business meeting, which is where all of our voting delegates will need to meet. So watch for information about that. We'll talk about voting delegates in just a little bit, but at 5 p.m., all of your voting delegates will need to be at the Hyatt Regency. We'll send a room out at a later date so they can be there. Okay, on Wednesday, March 8th, at 9 a.m., the grand award session will start. So that's all the awards, election results, officer farewells, and all of that fun stuff. The venue will open at 8 a.m. Doors to theater will open at 8:30. If you are a platinum or gold level STAR chapter, you will get reserved seating for this as well. Okay, and I know I'll have questions about it. Events typically, they'll be ending throughout the day. I know last year our last events probably went until 6, and those were just some of those really full events, but I think we maybe had 1 or 2 events that were going until 6. That's not ever our goal. We try to keep the schedule moving as quickly as possible. So I would hope for 5, but it all depends on how many people register in those events and how we're able to create that schedule. So, but my goal is always to end around the 4:35 p.m. spot. But we will obviously have to go as late as we need to. Okay. So over here on the sidebar, we talked about the theme video. It is also on the OKB My YouTube channel. I will have our color-coded SLC calendar here for you. That'll be getting updated this week for you and students to use. That will have all the dates and things like that. Important links. So we have our SLC registration will be linked here, is linked here. It'll open on the 12th. Online testing site will open on February 1st. The pre-submit site will open on February 1st as well. So these are 3 different websites. So that's why we have the links and all of that, and they are peppered throughout this page of the website. So just keep that in mind. You've heard me talk about it several times. The STAR chapter program application is linked here. And just a reminder, that's due on February 20th. We'll look at that page in just a moment. Okay, we'll be announcing our keynote speaker soon. We'll let the state officers roll that out on social media, and then we'll post it here with the bio and things like that so that your students can prep ahead of time. Okay, in this section that's planned for conference, it's all of our blue buttons here. So we have our hotels. This is a repeat of the information that was on the toggle above. Okay, we have a parking guide. Okay, so we have some Cox Business Convention Center parking information, parking at Regency information, extra bus parking, and then the bus drop-off and instructions from Tulsa Tech Peoria. Now, these are from the 22 SLC, so I will send out an email if those change, but here's what we have right now. Okay, Tulsa Tech Peoria maps. Okay, again, these are from last year. We will update them if they change, but I wanted to make sure they were on the website so that you could get an idea. If they are changed at all, though, I will send you an email to let you know that they're updated, and we'll update this page on the website. Okay, Courtesy Corps. So let's talk about that. Courtesy Corps is a volunteer job that students can participate in at State Leadership Conference. You can think of it kind of like an internship behind the scenes and things like that. Members are able to assist event directors and judges, BMITE staff in a variety of ways, but mainly we see them helping on the floors where we have a lot of competitions happening. So they may be runners, they may be helping with judges' needs and things like that. It's a great experience. We have a wonderful advisor who oversees that each year. So if you have students who are interested in that, they can do that. A lot of times we'll see students who may not be competing. This is a way that they can come to State Leadership Conference and still participate. If your student wants to do this, but they are also competing, we will work around their competition schedule. So don't feel like that limits them. It doesn't count towards the event maximum or anything like that. Each chapter is limited to 2 Courtesy Corps members per chapter, and we limit the spots to about 100 members. So if we don't reach that 100 member spot, then we will send out an email saying, hey, we didn't fill up the spots. If you have more people from your chapter who want to help, send them to us. So then we'll waive that 2 member maximum. But to start out, we're going to have 2 members limited to 100 members to volunteer. You can sign up for this in the registration system. So just look for that Courtesy Corps designation when you're doing the events and things like that. Signs them up in the registration system, makes it super easy. Okay. After you sign up and things like that, and we have our list, then I will send out assignments. Okay. And then if you can't fulfill your assignment, you can just let us know. Okay, we'll go to the dress code. This dress code is the same dress code that we follow for all of our events, and it is the same as the national BPA dress code. So this goes through here, just make sure you're following those rules, things like that. We will be checking dress code. You can read through here, kind of defines what professional dress is. What casual dress is, and then what's just not acceptable at all. If you have questions on that, please do not hesitate to reach out and contact our office. Preparation really is key with the dress code. A lot of it is not terribly hard to locate. We know we have schools that share blazers, things like that. And I will say, I mean, it's intimidating, but if there's a little bit of preparation and advisors are helping students, then we don't usually have a problem with it. So just let me know if you have questions. Okay, the Merit Scholar Test is an event that is available to every BPA member who participates in state leadership conference. It does not count towards any of your event totals. And it is really just so that members can test their knowledge of business professionals of America, of both a state and national level. It asks about logistics of the organization, the history, traditions, activities, things like that. So we do have a study guide that has been put here. So what I do is I actually encourage all of our members who participate in online testing for sure to take this test because it's available to them. They'll all be able to see it when they log in to test. They have a maximum of 60 minutes where they can take it, but most students take it in about 30. So if you just schedule a little bit of extra testing time when you do your online testing, your students can take this Merit Scholar test. They don't have to be signed up for it or anything like that. And if they make above a 90, then they get on stage and get an award. So it's just one more opportunity for your students to get recognized. Okay, national anthem. So we always are looking for our national anthem singer. In years past, sometimes we have one, sometimes we have two, one at opening and one at awards. So the date to send in your submissions is February 2nd by 11 p.m. And you'll just do it right here. So the form's here, you'll fill it out, upload your sound. If you have a link instead of an upload, that's fine. You can link it here, just make sure I have access. And then you'll hit submit. So after that, our state officers listen to those and choose who they would like to sing the national anthem at our sessions. So please encourage your students to do that if you have someone. They do have to be a BPA member and they do have to be attending conference to be eligible for this. So if you have questions, just let me know. Okay, Torch Awards. As you guys know, we're on a path to bring home the professional cup in all of our divisions, and Torch Awards help with that. So here's some information on that. You will actually complete your Torch Award applications through the website, which is right here. It's also, you can see it in your membership site and things like that. But what we have done is we have taken those Torch Award points and there'll be more, but there's some here. And we have created some resources for those. So we have our Torch login here. We have our spreadsheet resource from some teachers who created it back at the September training. So this is just a spreadsheet that you can use if you don't want to do the application just right off the bat. You can get in the spreadsheet. And right here, we have all these resources and ideas. So this is extra resources for our Oklahoma members to use. So all of these torch points are broken down kind of by a category. So let's say that you have a local officer and they're wondering what torch points are related to being a local officer. What are easy gets if they're a local officer? They can click on this. It's a spreadsheet. It's going to list every torch points that are available in all the categories if you're a local officer. So it's not recreating things, but what it has done is pulled different torch categories and points, and it's showing you in a spreadsheet for a certain activity. So this was an election year, so we went ahead and did it for that. So if you pull this, it's going to show you every torch point that is related to election day. So that if you did host that mock election or your students are 18 and can vote, that they can see what torch points are eligible. I have a few more that I'm going to upload. Our state officers have been working on these. And basically they're just scouring the torch handbook and they are pulling all of those points that are related so that it's an easy to find place for you to use. Speaking of the handbook, it is posted right here. But the login is here for the actual application. Keep in mind that the first two levels are approved at a local level, and then statesman is what we approve at a state level. Okay, and we'll talk about BPA cares in a little bit, but here is the link to that page. And we also have some resources we'll be uploading for BPA Cares as well. For those of you who don't know, Torch is a community service application for our students, and a lot of things they're already doing. So it could be, saying the Pledge of Allegiance at a BPA meeting. It could be attending a civic meeting in their community. It could be hosting a food drive or attending state leadership conference, attending fall conference, running for a local office. All these different things give them points, and they put those on the application, and depending on the different amounts of points that they earn, then they can earn the different levels of Torch. So once you get in, it makes a little bit more sense. But basically just think of it as a huge community service and leadership resume for your students who are in BPA. Okay, BPA Cares. We have it linking right to the BPA Cares page on the national website. This is something else that can help us towards that professional cup. And I will tell you that if you have an active chapter, I guarantee that you can apply for one of these BPA Cares awards and get it. So let's get the recognition that you need for your chapter for things that you're already doing. You don't have to do anything extra to get this other than fill out the form. Okay, so there's several different awards here. You can just hit the apply button and fill those out. There is a handbook here if you want more information. You will fill these out even for state leadership conference. You're going to fill out the national forms, and then I contact nationals, get the list of Oklahoma advisors who have submitted by our date, and they send that list to me and we recognize those. And if you do that, guess what? You're going to get recognition at state leadership conference and national leadership conference. So one form, 2 stages, get recognized. It's fantastic for your chapter. Okay. Information on voting delegates. We will post the full voting delegate list on this page. So here's just a breakdown of how we allocate the number of voting delegates per chapter. It's all based on your membership. Here's a list of voting delegate responsibilities. Your voting delegates can read through this and prepare themselves appropriately. Procedures, again, that meeting can be at 5 p.m. on March 7th. Speeches will be at opening session on March 6th, and then caucusing is here. So this is where I'm going to be posting the voting delegates totals. We will look at the membership as closely as we can so that we can post it appropriately, but probably on the 15th of February is when we're going to base that membership. Again, if you're wondering what the breakdown is, here it is. Okay, this has not been loaded yet, but we'll have our candidate preview here for all of our state officer candidates. So you'll be able to see names, bios, videos, statements, all of that here to help prep for state leadership conference. So that you go into state leadership conference somewhat knowing the candidates, and then you'll hear speeches, visit their campaign booths and things like that. So encourage especially your voting delegates to look at this, but your whole chapter can look at this, and then you all can discuss your thoughts. Okay, in this next section, it's competing in events and all about competition. So we've posted those online windows again. Remember, February 1st through 17th is online testing, and that pre-submitted events upload window. Here are the links to both of those websites, 2 different sites, 2 different links. Looking at some information, we'll look at the online testing information. Have our window, and that those sites are not open 24/7. So the testing window is open 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., no weekends. And that is simply just because I am the tech support for the online testing, and I don't want a student to be testing when I cannot be available to provide tech support for that student. Okay, testing liaison. So make sure that you register your testing liaison if you have not done so this year. I know several of you did it back in August when we talked about this at Oklahoma Summit, but this is a yearly thing that you need to do. And to do that, you're going to, it's on our website, and you can just hover over information library, go over to the testing liaison link, click it, fill out your information, and whoever you assign as your testing liaison is who is going to get the information for online testing. That will be the passwords, the login information, troubleshooting information, all of that will be sent to the testing liaison, not to the advisor. So So just let me know if you have questions on that, but fill out your testing liaison form. I will remind you multiple times through email and things like that. Testing liaisons, who can be one? Anyone but a BPA advisor. So if you have another CTSO advisor across the hall, maybe it's an FFA advisor, a DECA advisor, they can be your testing liaison. Maybe you can return the favor and be a testing liaison for them. Your media specialists, counselors, administrators, volunteers, whoever, if you have someone who's a designated testing liaison already at your school, all of those people can administer these tests, but you cannot as the advisor. So we try to keep it easy, but make sure that you assign who will be proctoring those tests for your students. Okay, we have some information about the technology for the online testing so that you can prepare ahead of time. If you have been already taking online practice exams, then this will be easy. It's all the same system and things like that. So they'll be familiar with that answer right system. Okay, and then down here we have all the events that have an online test so that you can kind of scroll through there and look at that. Okay, moving on to the prepared events. These are also, you'll hear them, the judged events, things like that. So please make sure that you check the state WASB guidelines to make sure that you have everything that you need. And we have all of those linked here. And I'm just going to go ahead and actually click on that page so that you can see it. So on our compete page, which is on the website year round, you'll be able to see we have our, there's an updates video that's been done there. We have our events at a glance posted here. Our state secondary and post-secondary WASP is here. Our middle level WASP is here. And then we've linked to the national WASP here. For state leadership conference, please make sure that you are doing these top 3 and not necessarily looking at the national WASP. Why? Because we put dates and deadlines into ours that are a little bit different than the national website. So this way you won't forget a deadline, miss a deadline, not upload something appropriate, things like that. So please make sure that you're following the Oklahoma WASPs for secondary, post-secondary, and middle level. And then if you advance, when you advance to national competition, then you'll look at the national WASP. Okay, and just as a reminder, we have all of our practice materials linked down here underneath that ready to compete box. So we have all the online practice testing, the downloadable tests on CTU, and then links to purchase tests as well. So we have all of that there for you and your students. Okay, back on the SLC page, I think we had that prepared events page open. Lots of tabs. Okay, the upload window, we talked about that. Okay, so your presentation, we have asked that students upload their videos that they're sending in to YouTube or Vimeo. So they're providing a link. You're not going to actually give us the video file for that. Okay, so we go through some of those guidelines, make sure you're looking at the Oklahoma WASP to see what needs to be pre-submitted. And then we do have a list of those events. You will notice that Oklahoma does have more pre-submitted events than national, and that's just because we don't go through a regionals phase. So we're going to look at our top 20, top 12 competitors through online testing and through the prejudged events. So that's a way that we narrow things down. For example, prepared speech. Prepared speech in Oklahoma is a prejudged event, and we will only have 20 people moving on to state leadership conference. At nationals, it's not a prejudged event. You won't send anything in ahead of time. Okay, so right here we have our advisor guide. The number of contests that each student can be in. Just some more reminders about the testing windows and things like that. Link to register your testing liaison if you forget where it is, but it's right here. Talks about our pre-submit event window. We have our advisor FAQ, and what we'll do is we'll just continue to add to this as we get questions. So you can scroll through here and see what has been asked. My general rule is if I get a question, I usually will post it here if it pertains to the whole group. And then if I get a question really more than 3 times, I'm going to answer it via email because that signals to me that there was a miscommunication on my part and that there's something that needs to be cleared up to the group as a whole. So, but we will also post it here. But look here frequently. We'll add questions as people have them. I know it's a lot and it can be very overwhelming at times. The academic integrity policy is here. And this is BPAs that we follow. We have not modified it for the state. So make sure you read through that and abide by that with all of your competitors. Okay, and then right here, we have everything that we just looked at on that competition page. We have our secondary and post-secondary WASSP. These are all the Oklahoma versions as well. And we have the middle level WASSP, and then we have our Oklahoma events at a glance. For a moment, I want to talk about the events at a glance and how helpful it can be to you. As you'll see, the WSAP or WASSP guides are massive. There's a lot of pages and a lot of information in those. So if you're looking at the events at a glance page, what that's going to be is just so much easier to read, and it truly is an events at a glance, even though it's 4 pages. So what we have done is we've broken this into different sections. So we have finance, our 100 section, then it goes down in order. And then up here, you'll see that we have some other breakdowns. So how many people can be in a team? That's the team number of participants. What division is the event eligible for? So let's just scroll down and let's check out an event. So let's look at, perfect. Let's look at admin support team. So 255 admin support team. And this is how we identify the event. So the number, well, you'll hear us refer to it, event number 255, but we also call it admin support team. So what you can see is that this event is eligible to secondary and post-secondary. You can also see it here. I have to scroll up to see these. The number of chapter entries eligible for competition. Each chapter with this one can only have 1 entry per chapter. And that's just because you're familiar with that event. It's because of the equipment needed. How many people are in the team? There's 2 to 4 people in the team. Does it have an online test? No, it does not. Let's see what this one is. You'll get 20 minutes of orientation. They get 90 minutes to compete. So this one is fun. I get a lot of questions on, my student competed in this event last year. Can they compete in this event this year? So we have a line right here that says, may this event be repeated. This one can, as you can see, there's some up here that are not. Okay, what are the other ones? Production standards are used. There was a yes there. Reference materials, there was a yes there. And then computer and printer provided by BPA. You'll see that that is also a yes. Okay, with all of those, you are usually welcome to bring your own computer and printer to any of those that says that we will provide it. What that means though for you is that you are the tech support for that. It also goes into your time. And if something goes wrong, we cannot guarantee that we can fix it on a device that is not ours or that we have not prepared. So just keep that in mind if you're bringing your own equipment. Okay. So just some more things, but that's how you read this. This last one is number of SLC winners going to NLC. And you can see that that's how many advance to National Leadership Conference. So in that admin support team, we take 1st and 2nd place. Okay, so basically, if you just scroll down this through these pages, you're going to see that information in all of these. One that you should be looking at is that pre-submit event or that online testing. So it's going to show you if they have a pre-submit, like this network design team does have a pre-submit component right here, but no online test. Okay, there are a few that don't have an online test or pre-submit components. There's not very many, but there are some. Okay, so that's that. And if you scroll all the way down to the very last page, we have our 900 events, which are middle level. Same thing up top here, and same information. So just make sure you're following along with that. Okay. Also keep in mind in this, you can see that, extemporaneous speech is only for secondary, contemporary issues only for post-secondary. So just make sure you're reading that. But this, I would have the events at a glance printed. Actually, I do have it printed in my office and it hangs on my bulletin board just for quick reference. And so it's something I would have handy. You can highlight it, print it as many times as you need to. It is truly an invaluable resource when preparing for State Leadership Conference. Okay, moving on to the recognized success section. These are all Oklahoma awards. So, and it talks about the deadlines. The deadline for recognition awards is February 10th. And our recognition awards are the Advisor of the Year Award, the Lifetime Achievement Award, and the Member of the Year Award. So I'm going to open up one of these. They all have similar forms and pages, so we actually won't go to all of them. But if you have questions, let me know. Again, the deadline is February 10th for all three of those. And we will recognize, if we have nominations, then we will recognize an advisor in each of the levels. So there could be up to 3. Okay, and just the information that they'll need, 2 letters of support, and then you'll just fill out this form down here, upload your letters, and then submit. All by February 10th. So if you know someone, we have a lot of amazing advisors in Oklahoma BPA. So please nominate. You can nominate yourself. You can nominate your colleagues. Please do this so that you guys can get recognized because you deserve it. Okay, Lifetime Achievement is the same way. And then Member of the Year. Member of the Year, we'll recognize someone in every division if we have eligible entries. Okay, the Gina Hubbard Scholarship is an Oklahoma scholarship that we give out each year. It's due on February 10th as well. You'll need to email the application, which is linked here. I'm sorry, that's confusing. So you will download the application here, send it to Mr. Birch by February 10th. Make sure that you're using BPA scholarship as that subject line. So please, we love to give away money to our members. So please look at that application, fill it out, and we can help out your students. Okay. You've heard me talk about before, if your chapter has platinum or gold level in the STAR chapter program, they'll receive reserved seating at the opening session and grand award session. That deadline is February 20th. So we've talked about it so many times this year, but if you have a chapter that is functioning by BMITE standards, you are meeting the bronze level for sure. But I bet that most of you are hitting higher than that. So bronze level, all the requirements listed here, silver, gold, and platinum. Platinum is designed to be really difficult. But with all of these, the goal of this is for your chapters to be active, to see what's available to them, and to try new things. So if you have a question on anything that's listed on this form, we have the downloadable form here. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom of this lengthy page, you will see that we have some examples based on questions we have received in the past. So what does a non-competitive event contest mean? I get this one the most. Okay, so what does this mean? A non-competitive event contest, as it is written on the STAR chapter program form, is that anything like a trading pin design, the national anthem singer audition, send me your national anthem singers, t-shirt designs, partner contests, things like that. So it's not one of those that's on that events at a glance page. It's something else that they're competing in, but not necessarily to get on stage and get a medal. Okay, so you can scroll through that. Okay, but as we're scrolling past all this, this is the application. Okay, and it is lengthy. But you can fill it out in a Word document and then pop it over, or you can sit down and fill it all out. If you do fill it out and say you filled it out thinking that you got gold, maybe your chapter didn't reach the gold level, your application isn't voided. We'll just move you to the level that you have achieved. So for instance, if you signed up for gold, but maybe you achieved silver, then you're still going to get silver on stage. Okay, if you do have questions, let me know. The time frame on this is different than a lot of things that we do, with it being that it is from SLC to SLC. So it kind of encompasses a different type of year. So this year's will be from SLC 2022 to SLC 2023. Okay, so nothing's posted here on this, but we have it here so that you know where to find it. So if you're looking for results, they're going to be in this blue box. So for the first set of results that we always have are our testing lists from online testing. So you'll see we'll have it broken down by division here. They'll be able to click on these and see who has made it past online testing to state leadership conference. The other set of finalists that we'll be releasing prior to SLC are our pre-submit finalists. We'll link it here. All divisions will be in one link, and that'll tell you who's moving forward in those pre-submitted competitions. Over here, you will see that we'll have all of our open tests, and what we'll do is post the top 8 in all of our open tests, so that with those, you know who's getting on stage. And there are a few extras too that you can see that we post. And then after SLC, you'll see that we will post all of the full SLC results right here in this red button. What this is missing though is if we have anything that is a finalist on site at State Leadership Conference, I will also post it here. Now, with that being said, there's going to be signs posted, there will be emails sent out, everything we can do to notify you that your student has made finalists. But we'll also post it here. So just know that this results box is here. It's ready to go. All we have to do is pop in the results when we have them. Okay, we're almost done, guys. You have been great so far. Vendors and sponsors. If you know of someone who'd like to be a partner for Oklahoma BPA, they can click on this link, fill it out. I will get back to them with information. Okay, and then judges and volunteers. We do ask that you help us recruit some judges and volunteers. Advisors cannot be judges. You will have another work assignment at conference, but you cannot be a judge. So if you have information, Bradley and Carter recorded a great video for us here. We have the information for judging here, and then they can sign up. So, and they can request certain events if they'd like, online or in person or both. And they can also tell us their availability for all day or for in person, if they're going to be doing that. Okay, that is everything that is on the website right now. If you have questions, please send them in. We will update the FAQ page as well. And I will be trying to get to those emails as quickly as possible. But know that if there is information for State Leadership Conference, it's going to be posted on this page of the website, sent out to you in an email from me or other Be Might staff members. You can also check on our social media and things like that. But the main resources for you are going to be this website and emails from me. So check it frequently, check it often, and I can't wait to see all of your students in March. And I'm looking forward to seeing who will be attending when registration opens on January 12th. So have a wonderful start to the new school year, and email me if you have questions. Thank you.